Welcome back. You tuned into the Talking Point with me, your host, Miriam Mia, only on Salam Media. And so I'm reading off an article that was penned by Mike Roseholt in the Rosebank Kilani Gazette. And it goes, the current state of a city requires active citizenry. Willing to get involved in their suburbs, many social services and many social and service related infrastructure issues. The days of paying rates and hoping to get attention from a hugely overstretched and financially burdened city administration are over, at least for now. Active citizen as a resident association supported by majority of residents offer the best hope of achieving these changes on a sustainable basis. So that is what the Parkhurst Resident Association. This includes the partners. So let me just read the acronym. It's Parkhurst Resident and Business Owners Association. That is what they aim to do. One of the aims is to provide a link between ratepayers, residents, and businesses of Parkhurst first, so that they can deal with local authorities and public bodies to maintain that predominantly residential environment which is safe and secure. And I know as a member, an executive member of the Greenside Resident Association, that is one of our commitments as well in terms of the aims and objectives of the Greenside Resident Association. So today I'd like to welcome, representing the Parkhurst Residents and Business Owners Association, Ryan Hawthorne, uh, to the show, as well as Bianca Albertini, who is also an executive member of the Greenside Resident Association, and she's actively involved in the subcommittee of security in the suburb, but it extends its security, community development, and whenever there's a need, anybody can call Bianca. She's always on speed dial, so we all know. Uh, we all refer to as the little angel of the suburb. So, good afternoon and welcome, Ryan.
Hi, great to be on the show.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Bianca, and good to see you after I think a month or two that we haven't connected. So, welcome.
Yes, thanks, Miriam. Thank you for having me.
So, in that article I read, I think we have this mindset that rates and taxes is a grudge payment. So we all pay for our rates and taxes, and then every time we driving past the suburb, we see the verges that are so unkept, or there's a pothole, or the streets are not properly marked. It's all being faded, or just the general litter and the shabbiness of the suburb. It just looks so unsightly, and then there'll always be a comment: we pay our rates and taxes. Where is city parks? Where is pick it up? Why and or even JRA? Where are they? Why are they not upkeeping the city of Johannesburg? But according to this article, our mindset should change as residents of our suburb if we want to maintain the nature of the suburb, if we want to maintain a well-maintained suburb, and also to keep our property values from declining, then we need to become active and being part of the solution, and also facilitating with various role players and stakeholders to ensure that our suburb is kept, in good shape, and it's filled with character, and also a good place we can call home. So, Ryan, what are your thoughts on active citizenry, as well as what I've said now in terms of citizens or residents taking responsibility for the upkeep of their suburb?
Well, I mean, I think there are a few things that residents can and do get involved in. The one nice example that I'd like to speak about is partnering with city parks on upkeep of parks, for instance. So you can residents or people living around a public park can partner with the city to maintain that park, and that's what we've done quite effectively over the last number of years, and that's worked very, very well in Parkhurst. The other big initiative that we often try and speak about is around safety. So we have a safety initiative in the area called Safe Parks, which we would urge you to join if you're a Parkhurst resident or business owner. And really that's about having the community hold the safety provider, the public spaces security provider, in our case, we've appointed 24/7, to account and to work with our community to try and reduce crime as far as possible. And we think those kinds of initiatives are actually working quite well.
And Bianca, over to you. So, Bianca, I know you work with many stakeholders, including the local police station, the Parkview police station, with the CPFs, with the various security companies in our area. And also you've been instrumental in many, many initiatives to ensure the safety of our suburb, but not only the safety, but the general upkeep of the suburb. Why is it so important for residents to become involved in maintaining their suburbs?
So, Miriam, I think as you read through from the article, we are acutely aware of the fact that the departments, as they are deemed responsible for certain infrastructural things, that they're just not able to maintain to the extent that we need. And obviously, we reach a little bit of a situation where we can either sit and complain, or we can actually get involved. So I think just to try and bridge the gap, there is a disconnect between what is expected and what is happening. And the only people really that can step up to get involved in this are residents themselves. And as you rightfully said, it assists us with our own properties, but also we're living here. So it's our safety, it's our peace of mind, it's our well-being that we need to ensure is kept on the go at the same time. So it's just, for me, it's just obvious that we need to be the ones that are going to step up and assist.
And in terms of resident association, research has shown that where there's a strong presence of a resident association that are representative of the community in terms of ensuring bylaws are enforced, or then reporting whenever there are infringements of bylaws. Various properties are used for what the land use is according to the city, and also then engaging with stakeholders, as well as engaging with the local ward councillor of that area. Then in terms of the city of Johannesburg building this relationship and saying, this suburb here, putting certain priority and ensuring budget allocation goes for certain projects in certain parks, and that, do you think it assists when there is that active resident association that engages with the city? I'll take you first, Bianca.
Definitely, Miriam, definitely. It's got to do with building and strengthening and then maintaining relationships. And I think a lot of the time, we have access to certain resources, but we need to once again be the bridge. And we're fortunate in the sense that we have an amazing ward councillor, but there is only so much that she can do from an operational perspective. And so she relies heavily on members of her community to assist her, to bring issues to her attention, to help see them through. So I definitely do think that it assists, yes.
And Ryan, Parkhurst is a unique suburb in that it's a mixed suburb. So along the main roads, you have houses that are now businesses along there. So you have that business node and business hub. But at the same time, just off the back street, those are people's houses. And they want that feeling of serenity, quiet. So it's a balance between maintaining the noise, nuisance, call it, and then as well as, it's a nodal, so it's bringing in revenue into the suburb. And that, so how do you then, as a resident association, have that balance between the business interests as opposed to residents' interests as well? How do you balance that?
Well, the first thing is we actually have the businesses on our Residents and Business Owners Association. It's in our name, and we literally have restaurant owners who sit on our monthly meetings and who are very much involved in everything that we do. The other thing that we do is we've retained the services of a town planning organization, and so whenever a new town planning application comes up to, say, set up a new bar in Parkhurst or some new establishments, what we routinely do is we review that application, we consider whether there's enough parking and whether we think that it's going to keep up and maintain the profile of the suburb, And if we don't believe that's the case, then we oppose it, and we regularly do that. We also have heritage applications that we have architects that are residents who review these heritage applications to make sure that the character of our suburb is maintained. So we do quite a lot to kind of engage with the city and try and make sure that we sort of balance those interests of sort of business and residents as best we can.
And Bianca, many people, they feel, they're afraid to get involved because they feel they might not have the skill set or the confidence, or people are maybe working full-time jobs or have high-pressure jobs, and they feel, this is going to consume lots of their time. So hence the reluctance. From your perspective, I know you do various things, career-wise, business-wise, and that, but then you still find the time to be accessible, even at every hour. I know sometimes when there are incidents and you are there to support the community, if there's somebody has been a victim of crime, or even if there's just a car accident and there's a casualties, and that I know you'd be the one to call the ambulance and wait with the family and offer that support. So how a busy person like Bianca manages the time to get involved in, if you don't necessarily have, and what skill set do you need, or do you just learn as you go along? So is it difficult to become an active citizen or part of a residents association, a member? Is it difficult?
It's not difficult at all, Miriam. It's absolutely not difficult at all. I think I had a discussion about a month ago with a prominent member of our community. And, one of the things that he said really struck a chord with me in terms of involvement. There isn't really a stipulated amount that you need to be involved in. So, one person's involvement is maybe facilitating or typing up of minutes. For instance, our residents association started a green crew, which is people who, go through the suburb and maintain and clean the parks and public spaces. And we had a number of people come forward to offer to provide meals for those people. So on a Friday, each Friday, one member of our community takes a turn to provide lunch and some juice. So, there's the nice thing about a community is that there's so many of us, and each of us have different skills and different strengths and different weaknesses. So the combination of all of those things together, and as I said just now, the smallest, what you feel is the smallest contribution that you can make, actually at the end of the day can be quite a big difference. It's when nobody gets involved because they don't want to, or they don't feel that they have enough time. That's when things start to struggle a little bit, or the community starts to struggle. So it's not difficult at all. And any amount of time, I believe, that anybody can allocate to assisting with community development is a worthy cause.
And Ryan, from your perspective, being an active member of a resident association, how difficult it is in terms of giving of your time, of your resources, and I don't know, does it leave you with we all engage in social activism and we outreach programs and that, because it just gives us a sense of fulfillment. So being on a resident association, when you see the Parkhurst is looking lovely now. There was trees have been trimmed, road markings are there, the pavements look nice. Do you feel that sense of accomplishment? I was part of this little organization that is ensuring that with partnerships with stakeholders, things are getting done, like small victories. Does it, at the end of the day, does it give you that sense of satisfaction that, I was part of this network?
I don't know about that. I don't know if we're talking about the same Parkhurst. I'm not sure. We're in Parkhurst.
I'm just giving an example.
Yeah, Greenside, that one. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, I don't, sometimes it doesn't feel that way. I must say, what we do get a lot of is residents complaining. It's the most amazing thing, and Bianca actually knows this as well. We're both on the CPF together. And what you get a lot of is residents complaining to volunteers about, like, their pavement's broken. Why isn't the Residents Association doing anything about it? It's kind of bizarre. And we kind of want to get involved. we're just volunteers. No one's making any money out of this. It's sort of people are strange. It's not always the most fun being on the residence association, I must say. But it is fairly easy, and quite frankly, you can do different things. And what's quite nice is people can, like, when we visited other communities, what they often talk about is lots of other things that the residents association members get involved in. Like, they can set up a chase club, and it's more about building a sense of community. Actually, this is one of the most important things about safety, is just knowing your neighbors. Most people where I live don't. I sort of know, my neighbors a little bit, kind of thing, but we don't really know each other very well at all. And I mean, there's a lot of things you can do that have got nothing to do with getting out there and cleaning up the pavements, which is sort of what the city would like us to do. I know, and maybe we should do more. But there's a lot of things you can do to get involved you might be interested in, you might want to do because it's your hobby and got nothing, or you're just interested in, rather than because out of the sense of duty and community, which is not always the best motivator for some people.
What keeps Ryan going and wanting to be part of the resident association in Parkhurst, in spite of all the complaints and looking at things that never get done, or tearing your hair out because various stakeholders are just not coming to the party to speak? Then what keeps you that sustained commitment?
Oh, I don't know about sustained commitments on my part at all. I mean, I've resigned from the CPA, if I'm kind of, but I mean, the one thing that I would say is that kind of some things are, like, the one thing I would like to try and help a little bit with is with the homeless situation in our community. There's this massive homeless issue, which of course is a huge safety implication. I mean, we only have 1 or 2 maximum murders per year in the entire Parkview SAPS precinct. That's between Westcliff and Greville Park. And it's always a car guard, or it's somebody homeless. People have in mind, residents have in mind, it's somebody invading their home, or it's a carjacking. Actually, those crimes are, those very rarely lead to murder. It's actually the poor people that are very badly impacted by crime, and sort of course, residents get up in arms and see all the homeless people wandering around, and what do? We need to kick out all the people from the bowling club, which you might be aware of, and down in near Parkhurst. And all of that's, I would understand it if I was living right next door to a giant homeless settlement with, drinking illegal, bars and stuff on the weekends and things. I'd also be upset. But there's something more sort of sustainable needed, and so I'm quite keen on that.
And Bianca, from your side, what keeps Bianca committed? I know in terms of sometimes when everybody's complaining as if you have a magic wand that everything can be fixed. I know in a day you get about 10 WhatsApps regarding complaints and that. So what keeps you going in terms of the sustained commitment at a resident association and to just serve the community?
Miriam, I think the biggest driving force is probably passion. It's something that you have to be passionate about. So you and I are both in the education industry, and that's also a passion. So part of it is definitely passion. And the other part of it is, as you said earlier, just seeing when you've made a difference. When you see somebody's face light up, or you see the initial fear and panic sort of just leave a person's face and their body language changes, then you've done something. A good friend of mine always says to me, you can't boil the ocean. And that's something that's often kept me on track. But it's the passion for helping and seeing change. And as I said, just the reward of seeing that. And if it is one person a day or one person a week, then I sort of feel like my purpose is fulfilled and my job is done.
Okay. And also I have a suggestion, which, I always say, when you have somebody nagging you and asking you why the pavement is broken, then tell them, what? Because you didn't volunteer, if you come to resident association and you're part of the solution, then things like this wouldn't escalate to that level. And I always say, if you complain, then come with a proposal or constructive solution or get involved. So next of all those people who complain, please join the other side of the fence and be part of the solution. And let's hold all the stakeholders accountable for this. This is what we can do. We can keep everybody accountable and honest. And I've known from experience, a lived experience, that a strong functional resident association really, really in the long term pays dividends in all types of encroachment, and also in terms of having a good relationship with various stakeholders, and it ensures that your suburb is there noted when council meetings happen, allocations come through like this. So yes, whoever, please, every small contribution, even if it's making a sandwich for somebody some way, or even just organizing something or facilitating, or say, you know what, I've got the capacity to send out emails, or I'll be the captain of my street, because that's how we do it. We break up. I can be the captain of the street, or you know what, I drive around and I pick up kids in the suburb all day. I'll just keep an eye. Whatever's gates are open, whatever's happening, even if it's a small thing like this, or I see anything suspicious, who do I contact? Or I'll just let one of the security companies know that something looks seemingly suspicious. So even if you just become the eyes and ears of the community, you know what? It's that small action that makes the biggest difference. So thank you for joining me, and I wish you well, and may you continue your sustained commitment, Ryan, in what you do, and congratulations. And we'd like to acknowledge active so part of what we do at Salam Media is we'd like to acknowledge citizens like you as yourselves for just doing your bit for your community, and not only for your community, thus then um, the trajectory reaches far off. So basically doing your bit for South Africa. And good afternoon, and may you be under the mercy and the protection of the Almighty. That was Bianca Albertini as well as Ryan Hawthorne. We're going to go for a short ad break. And when we come back, our last installment of programming dedicated to Women's Month. And yes, we're talking about female sports. And I'm so excited because August was the month where our female sports people have said, we have arrived. Women's sports was right there, and both on the local and international arena. Everybody from Banyana to the medals that the females brought home from the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham has shown that female sports have arrived. And yes, we need to start having the same focus and awareness on female sport. And I think our females need to be remunerated in accordance to what their male counterparts earn. So all this after the break.